What's going on, guys? This is the MMA Complex, and my name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And it is Thursday, no, Tuesday, May 21st, 2019. It is a Tuesday night here in sunny Los Angeles. Not sunny anymore, but it's a good day today. Really nice today. Damn, I was asleep all fucking day, man. I was done. Try to wake me up.
It's sad.
Not happening. Not happening. Yeah, I was out for like 9 hours. But
I mean,
I
that's
didn't
good,
get any.
though.
I didn't get any sleep yesterday, so I think that's probably why it all doubled up today.
Do you feel rested though? Or you feel more sleepy?
Well, I still feel a little groggy because like I said, I took a melatonin, took some CBD, I took a couple like a gummy and a half. So yeah, I drugged myself this morning.
Damn.
But normally I do that. Normally that's like my go-to because I know if I do it, I'm gonna be out for a good while, and I'll feel a little groggy when I wake up, but I'll feel refreshed.
Mm.
I'll get I won't wake up that much, and that's what happened today. I got like a good 9 hours at least. So that's what happens. That's what happens
Damn.
when you go to sleep hard. Um, Over the weekend, we had UFC ESPN plus Dos Anjos versus Lee. Took place over the weekend. You had a KSW had an event. Which is on DAZN, which is crazy that KSW is on DAZN.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really come to mind because they're big. They're a big promotion over in Poland. You had one championship, had an event. You had Kevin. Was it Kevin Lee? No, not Kevin Lee. What's his name? Christian Lee, brother of Angela Lee, winning the title, lightweight title from Shinya Aoki. That event took place over the weekend. We'll get to a couple of the news that came out of that. Sage Northcutt, losing in the first round. You had, and then you had the ESPN card. Let's talk about the one championship real quick. So that was in Singapore. You had Christian Lee defeating Shinyoki for the lightweight title that finished him in the second round. But one of the biggest names on that card was Sage Northcutt making his one championship debut against the veteran Cosmo Alexander. Now Cosmo is known as like a really seasoned, pretty vicious striker. It was a big deal, I think, earlier this year or late last year, where kickboxer Nikki Holzken beat Cosmo Alexander like in kind of like it was a kickboxing match, but it was they have MMA style kickboxing fights over there with the gloves, MMA gloves, but it's kickboxing. So Nikki Holzken beats Cosmo Alexander. I think that was the first recent fight that Cosmo had that was like got some big buzz. He lost that fight, but he comes back around not too long after, and is Sage Northcutt's first opponent in the one championship. Now, for us that really aren't familiar too much with Cosmo, even a lot of hardcores are not familiar too much with Cosmo, but he's been around the game for a long time. This was a matchup. I didn't even know that they got paired up. This is not something that I knew was going on. I probably, even just knowing it a little, what I do know of Cosmo, this was another case of one championship not giving any of the UFC guys any breaks. They threw him to the wolves, and with Sage Northcutt, this is very much the same thing. So, the fight didn't last long. It was a 29-second fight. Sage gets an overhand right that just clocks him, fractures his face in like 17 places. And there's a photo that he released of him in surgery, and he's got like half of his face bandaged up. This is what you could break down in terms of, was this a good decision by Sage and one championship to pair them up, Cosmo and him for his debut? Did Sage, was this? I don't know. The impact of his loss and also the decision making to going into this fight and into one championship and all that stuff. So what did you make of it when you heard that Sage lost and the way he did?
To be honest, I wasn't surprised.
No.
I think we all know that Sage Norcutt came from the Looking for a Fight YouTube series.
Yeah.
Um, and when he first started with the UFC, he was getting a push. He was fighting. He wasn't fighting the best competition, and he
Yeah.
was, he was winning. But later on, on his later half of his career in the UFC, I think he wasn't as impressive, and he was getting beat. So going into the one championship, I kind of assumed that he wouldn't be doing too well,
Mm-hmm.
just because Sage fights the best of the best
Mm-hmm.
in the UFC, and he wasn't fighting. And I think one has some really talented fighters that can give him trouble. And so seeing him lose in the fashion that he didn't really surprise me, just because
Yeah.
his style of fighting too. Sage Norcutt's style of fighting isn't the best defensively.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm not really surprised, and I think that um, if you're talking about booking and you're booking a one guy versus a UFC guy, even though he's contract with the one, I think it's great, it's smart booking for one,
Yeah.
because their guy kind of
Shine.
gets that
Their
push.
guy gets that
Yeah,
push. Yeah.
yeah,
So Cosmo's a well-known guy now.
yeah.
You know. Yeah, I wasn't surprised with him losing. I didn't necessarily think that he was going to have the easiest time or the most successful run over one championship. He is a prospect that really didn't pan out to people's expectations, but didn't necessarily swim like it didn't drown like Nicky Gall.
Mm.
Mickey Gall. Um, he did a little bit better than Mickey Gall. Lost to some tough competition, beat some tough guys, but otherwise, in that short amount of time that he was with the UFC, never really, um, you know, hit the top five or even the top 10. And so going into this, knowing how one championship is handling a lot of these, outside MMA guys, UFC guys mostly, you knew that they weren't going to go easy on him, but I didn't even know that they paired him up with Cosmo. I wouldn't have thought that would have been a good decision. Obviously, I would have, going into that, that Cosmo's a stand-up fighter, so you would have to, look to take it out of the ground. Now, it was only 29 seconds, so I don't think Sage really had a whole lot of time to set anything up. Um, this is not the best case scenario for Sage. He lost. He looked bad. It made the rounds everywhere.
Mm.
Even on TMZ and all that, which I know they do a lot of MMA coverage now.
I mean, if you think about one,
They're
it's great promotion for their company.
they've had really good promotion recently with the whole Mayweather and situation going on, and some of the other guys like Demetrius Johnson picking up a win, but also not having the easiest time. Eddie Alvarez losing, getting finished, and now Sage getting finished. So they've had some pretty good press as of late. They've been doing really well, and they've been looking really good compared to other promotions. So the only thing that's stopping them from really necessarily taking over here right now is that they're focusing and they're mainly on over and overseas. But
Yeah,
they make some really good decisions in terms of making sure that their company looks good.
and I'm sure.
Oh no, the Mayweather thing was with Ryzen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure, the heads at one would never admit that they're booking Sage this way.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a fact, but I mean, I'm just
They're looking to give their company
guys, like our guys can be UFC caliber guys.
Yeah.
Even though Sage wasn't at the top of the heap, he was still a well-known name.
Yeah.
And that is good enough to get coverage at the beginning.
Yeah. And then the fact that he's got a fractured face is he's out for a good while.
They can say the UFC guys couldn't do that to Sage, and we can.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're unknown, mostly unknown guys are just demolishing a lot of these UFC guys that go over there. But really, if you really know fighting, I knew that Eddie Alvarez wasn't going to have the easiest time over there. He's towards the end of his career. He's kind of dumbed down his offensive attacks. He's mostly a striker.
Yeah, and and especially with Sage, because we've seen his mistakes
Yeah,
in the octagon.
Sage has
He always leaves that chin open.
yeah. Sage
He,
has showed holes in his game. We've seen
yeah,
they're not the best of the
yeah,
best. So
yeah, because he always gets hurt in
yeah,
fights, just because like, especially when he kicks, he doesn't block his head.
yeah,
He leaves his head wide open, his chin wide
mhm,
open.
yeah,
So it's not surprising if a high caliber kickboxer can do that. I mean,
yeah,
it's like it's easy money for them.
yeah. And we knew that Demetrius Johnson was virtually probably unbeatable to most people out in the world. So no matter what promotion, so I knew
Although
he was probably gonna have the best time.
yeah, although I felt Mickey Mouse, I felt Mighty Mouse had a tough time.
Oh yeah, because they paired him up against a young, hungry,
Yeah,
very talented
dude, there was a
guy
moment in
that
that
was
fight
something
where
to
I thought he was
prove.
gonna lose.
Yeah, I know,
It
I know,
was crazy.
and I was impressed by the guy they put him up
Can you
against.
imagine all the guys that the guy they signed from the they all lost? Oh
They
my
all
god!
lost. I'm glad at least Demetrius won because he was probably the one out of the bunch that I knew was probably gonna have um
High stakes,
the
right?
the high the he was probably gonna achieve the most
Yeah,
success over there. You know,
yeah.
just because of his skill set and his fight IQ is just off the charts. So yeah, it's unfortunate for Sage because you're gonna be out for a year. You're gonna you're gonna come back and your face is not gonna be the same. You're probably not gonna look the same. Um, and then you might not even really feel comfortable fighting the same. So it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be a tough time. It's not the best situation for him. 29 seconds, and then his life changes, his career changes. What does he go from here? You know, it's
Mm,
pretty tough for him.
yeah. I
That's you
you should
know,
have stayed in school.
you should have stayed in the fighting the B level, C level guys in the UFC, and you probably would have been okay, and
Or go to Bellator.
or go to Bellator. They would have protected you
Yeah, a
like for
lot
sure.
better.
Yeah, way better.
And you're fighting in North America, we still have an American audience.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because Bellator does a really good job of taking care of their guys and bringing them up,
Yeah,
feeding them cans until they get comfortable. So
yeah. They do the boxing route.
yeah. Then you had ESPN Plus 10th event. This was in Rochester, New York. This is Dos Anjos versus Lee. This is a welterweight bout. I think this is Kevin Lee's first time at welterweight, and didn't have the easiest time. Dos Anjos is primarily a lightweight, but has had a lot of success and spent a lot of time at welterweight. And I think in this fight, it definitely showed.
Mhm.
Kevin Lee coming in for his first welterweight bout, gassed towards the end of the fight of the round of the fight itself, and lost in the fourth round via submission arm triangle. But you can see that he was exhausted. He pretty much gave up those positions. I think he went for a double leg or a single leg and kind of just didn't get it and just fell to the floor almost and just kind of like waited for Dos Anjos to jump on him. It was
Yeah, he won out of that fight.
yeah, he wanted out of the fight. I don't think he had much to really give at that point, and that was it. It was a good back and forth fight. A lot of cage work, a lot of pressing up against the cage for both fighters, a lot of takedowns, some good strikes. Dos Anjos looking, as best as he could in the situation. I still think that it would be best for him to leave the Ruka gym. I think the strategy that they have and the style that they have in terms of like their fighters, I think is not suited for Dos Anjos. I still believe that. I think he got past Kevin Lee, um, mainly because of exhaustion.
Mm.
But even though I thought he was winning the fight most of the time, but still, I think there's any other well seasoned welterweight that has a wrestling background would have given Dos Anjos trouble. So
No, I agree. I think he finally snapped that losing streak
yeah,
that he had going on, which is I think his last victory was in 2017, I believe, against Robbie Lawler. That was his last time he won a fight.
yeah,
So it's been a while for RDA. Um, and yeah, just to bounce back, off what you were saying, and Kevin Lee came in there and I think he fought a strong first round, but I think he blew his wad.
yeah,
He put everything in that first round, and I think from the second round on, he started to slow down more and more, and he got caught in that arm triangle. Well, he didn't get caught. He just pretty much gave him the
Hmm.
arm triangle. Um, I don't know. I think this is what Kevin Lee's third fight he lost in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's in a bit of a skid. Um, it makes me kind of chuckle inside because I always in my head I can hear him talk about how he can beat Khabib.
Hmm.
There's no way
Yeah.
Khabib will maul him.
I think for Kevin is that he lost his head coach not that long ago. I think he's been struggling to really find his
His groove,
place.
yeah.
Um, and so I think he needs to really take some time off, search for a camp, somebody that's really gonna like be able to guide him because I don't think he's found that yet.
And
I
the
think
highlight is his pros in his fight game.
yeah, I don't think he's found that yet. But he needs to do something pretty drastic in terms of his training and his camp and his strategies.
I mean,
Find a
I
head
feel like he
coach.
should go to 155.
Yeah, stay at 150. I think he should stay at 155. He's more successful there, and really evaluate and plan out his next camp and his find a coach, find somebody that can guide him as well as his last coach did. So
Do you know if he weighed in at 165? Because he said he was talking about that.
I think he weighed in. I think he weighed in a little bit under the limit,
Because
just a little.
he had said that he's going to win at 165 to prove a point
Yeah,
to Dana that he can.
that he could make the weight, or
Yeah, because he wants that
oh,
165 pound
because he wants to
division.
weigh in 165 pound division. I get it.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure what his
He's
official weight was.
yeah, he's been the biggest advocate for that. I don't know if that's ever something that's going to really come about.
I think if Dana ever leaves the UFC, I think that's going to come to fruition. But
Yeah,
when Dana's in charge, I don't see it's not
probably
going to
not.
happen.
It's gonna take a while. I mean, I don't see it as something impossible that can happen, but it'll be a while.
Yeah,
I don't know where he goes from here. I think
he needs. Yeah, you're right. He needs to take
yeah,
time off and
he really evaluate things. Go to 155. I don't think necessarily welterweight is the best situation for him.
just because of size difference.
Not that he can't do it, but it's just 155. I know it's a big cut for him, but it's
And then 170
more
has really
fair.
big, strong wrestlers.
Yeah. And Dos Anjos, he's back in the mix. You could put him up against something like a Darren Till, get him a big name that's not going to really try to wrestle him, and he can probably take it to him. I would like a Dos Anjos and Darren Till type of fight. Um, then in the co-main event, you had Ion Henish defeating Antonio Carlos Jr. by decision. Felicia Spencer, the underdog, defeating Megan Anderson by submission rear naked choke in the first round.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, she did. She was a big underdog actually against Megan. That one stood out to me, and I thought that would have been a good one to put some money on. Should have because Felicia got the win. I think she called out. I think she called out Cyborg after that. So
Oh, ooh.
good luck, Felicia.
Yeah, good luck.
Vincente,
Relax.
yeah, Vincente Luque defeating Derek Krantz TKO punches. That was a good one. Charles Oliveira is on a win streak, defeating Nick Lentz TKO strikes. Davi Ramos defeating Austin Hubbard. Aspen Ladd defeating Sajara Eubanks, and Desmond Green defeating Charles Jordan. And then the rest of the undercard was pretty decent, but
um,
overall a decent card, I guess.
yeah.
Who do you think won the weekend? Was it one championship or UFC?
Oh, one FC for sure
One UFC.
because they got the headlines.
Yeah.
Like I know ESPN just hired Mark Ramondi
Mm-hmm.
from MMA Fighting, and you know, and Mark Ramondi kind of covers the commission side of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at rules and regulations or weight cut and all. And he did an article on Megan Anderson
Mm-hmm.
where he followed her throughout her whole weight cut to 145. I believe in the article that I read, she comes in a fight camp at 170 and she cuts down to 145.
Yeah.
But
She's a big girl. She's a big girl.
big girl. But it irritates me because there's Megan Anderson's not, she's been on a losing streak. She fought 3 times.
Yeah.
She got beat by Holly Holm. Her second fight she won because of an eye poked with her toe, and she loses this fight. And then not the UFC, but ESPN is doing a whole spread on her just because she's
Hmm.
attractive. And then
Mainly,
and then and then
yeah.
that's irritating because there's other girls who deserve that spotlight who are actually winning fights.
Yep. Yeah.
And like I just had to say it because I was so irritated with that.
Yeah.
And me and you, we
And
know media guys, in MMA, and we know how certain people act. They want to be, they're only nice to you. They're only nice to people that are big time.
yeah,
And
that's
I can
media. That's
see,
yeah, it's media guys and fighters.
yeah, and then I can see Mark just kissing her butt because she's attractive and because she's, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's just so irritating. It's really irritating, actually.
It is. It is. It's a an unknown, like well known newcomer that's attractive that could possibly win a fight. He bet on the fact that she might be
I
something.
mean, there's plenty of girls
Yeah,
he can profile.
because she had a decent run in Invicta, but
Yeah,
you
in the
know,
UFC, she's nothing,
yeah,
and I hope that she continues to lose her fights.
yeah. Because I mean, yeah, because our relationship with her kind of, didn't turn out too well, I guess, in a way. She kind of,
Yeah, because she got signed with the UFC.
yeah, yeah, and that happens. That happens to people. Um, I don't know if you caught the undercard all that much. There was one fighter on the undercard that really got a lot of buzz. Michelle Pereira defeating Danny Roberts. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Um, I would suggest to go like watch his fight against Danny Roberts. He defeated Danny Roberts in the first round. Michelle Pereira is a human highlight reel for sure.
Mm.
He the way he put away Danny Roberts was impressive. Was scary. He's almost like a Johnny Walker type of
Mm.
fighter, just wild, kind of, but still calculated, and then just big and powerful. And he's a welterweight, and he just
I love Johnny Walker, so if I like him, I'm sure I'll like this guy.
watch that fight, watch that highlight. If I could pull it up, I'll see if I could do it. But yeah, devastating, and this guy is just wild. I mean, Danny Roberts is just trying to like
there was
get a
a
read on this dude.
there was a fight that I was interested in on the main card that I didn't get to see. He was from LFA, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and he got signed. He's like 31 years old. He's like he has like a 20-10 record, and he was making his UFC debut. And I was wondering if you want. I can't think. I think it was a fight right before the main event.
I think he did win. It was Ian Heinz.
Yeah, like yeah.
Heinz, 13-1.
No.
Let's see if he was from LFA. Yeah, he
No, no,
was from
no.
LFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, LFA, and then the Contender Series, and then this is probably his second fight.
No, it wasn't him because this guy was his first fight. I think it was a fight right before the main event. Who was the fight right before the main?
That one.
I'm sorry, the fight right before the co-main event is what I meant to say.
No, that was Felicia Spencer, Vicente Luque, Derek Krantz.
Yeah, there you go, Derek Krantz, that guy. Did Derek Krantz win or did
Derek-
he lose? He has like a 20-10 record, right?
Oh, he was from LFA. He was on the Contender Series, right?
Yeah.
No, he lost.
Oh,
It was he
I was
started.
hoping he would win.
Yeah, he started getting a kind of picked apart, and it was mostly just exhaustion. I think it was
Okay.
really.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't an easy go for him. He was fighting
Okay.
Vicente Luque, who's
Okay.
very talented.
Yeah.
So it was not a easy fight for him
Okay.
coming in.
I was interested if I was wondering who won.
Yeah, because they were showing highlights of his
His fight.
Contender Series fights,
Yeah.
and he looked pretty impressive.
Mhm.
A couple quick news. You had let's see, you had the Dos Anjos and Ngannou moved from UFC 239 to headline the ESPN 3 card. That will be, where's the ESPN 3 card? No, where is that taking place? I think that's in Minneapolis on June 29th at the end of the month. So that's the main card. That has Joseph Benavidez and Juicy Farmiga as a co-main event. Damian Maia, Anthony Rocco Martin, Drew Dober on the card, Paul Craig on the card, Sergio Pettis and Ricardo Ramos, Eric Anders making another quick run. Eric Anders just trying to pick up fights, man. trying to get a win somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but decent card on that one. So they moved to the main card, main event, and are headlining that. Yeah, so they got moved to the main card. You had what's it called? A good there's a good lineup of fights coming up. You have like um
Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis.
yeah, Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis got announced. You have a couple of headlining fights. You have like Renato Marciano against Korean Zombie coming up. Henry Cejudo versus um, what's it called?
Marlon Moraes.
Marlon Moraes.
And then Frankie Edgar and Max Holloway.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway. Those all got announced. Would that come out as a surprise for Max Holloway and Frankie? Was that like that was a kind of surprise matchup? No.
No, because he really didn't have anybody to fight.
Yeah.
And Frankie Edgar, Frankie Edgar has done the UFC a lot of favors in the past, and although he didn't pull through with the win, I think the UFC felt like they owed him a title
A
fight.
title fight. Yeah. Um. So yeah, it did kind of surprise me. And people are like, "Oh, why not Volkanovski?" But Volkanovski's still kind of recovering from kind of like an illness in his foot.
Yeah,
He
well,
got an infection.
yeah. I mean that, and he didn't have the name that Frankie Edgar does.
No, and it was a quick turnaround. I don't think it would have been the best situation for Volkanovski.
Yeah, and plus it's the matchup that we were supposed to see until last time.
Yeah,
It's still an intriguing fight, even though I still favor Max Holloway heavily in that fight. But who knows? I mean, it's an intriguing fight.
yeah, yeah. Did you catch the Artem Lobov and Paul
Yeah, actually, I
Malignaggi?
watched it right before I got here.
Yeah,
The whole
it was
thing.
interesting, huh? Right, a lot of they're doing what they need to do to create buzz for that
Yeah, I just
that
felt
fight.
like I think it was a step above the De La Hoya promotion as far as the press conference
Yeah,
went. It was cringeworthy.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
And even the guy that was like he was doing he was playing the Dana White role.
Yeah,
He was all over the place. He couldn't even contain control, and like they had one mic for every fighter.
yeah.
So the guy that was saying next question or promoting
Did
the
I have to
fight
hand it off?
had to hand it off to. It was like, what? You guys only could afford one mic,
Yeah,
but the heat's there, and I can't stand Artem. He's so annoying to me.
are you rooting for
I'm
are
I'm
you rooting for him or for Polly?
I'm rooting for Paulie, but I think Artem's gonna win
Yeah,
just because Paulie's hand he breaks his hands really easily.
he does. And this isn't necessarily an MMA fight. It's a it's a boxing match.
Hmm.
It's more in Polly's
Favor.
favor. More in his realm
But Artem's just so
of skill.
annoying. He's
Yeah,
so annoying.
he is. But he's Polly's trying to get what he can out of this whole thing too. I think Bare Knuckle has done really well in promoting their fights. Like making themselves a somewhat legitimate organization.
Mm.
Pretty rather quickly. I think they've had a lot of former UFC fighters, older, more current. They've had that those fighters have had success, which has brought fans back to the next event. They've had drama,
Yeah,
and they had these two kind of going at it.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely bringing. I mean, it's making headlines and clickbaits, but the only thing that I fear is that because it's bare knuckle, people are gonna associate that with mixed martial arts. It's
Yeah,
kind of gonna make our sport look bad, even though it has something to do. I mean,
I think it
both
is
two
more
sport.
associated with us than boxing for
Yeah,
sure.
because we started with bare knuckle,
Yeah, and
and when
most of
people
our
see,
guys are over there.
yeah,
Hmm.
and so when someone sees two guys fighting without gloves, they assume it's an MMA fight.
Yeah,
So it kind of puts a black eye in our sport. Um, and I think that as much a success as they're having, I don't think it's ever going to take off because it's bare knuckle.
yeah,
Even though it's safer fighting bare knuckle than with boxing gloves because you get head trauma with
yeah,
with the 10 ounce glove hitting you in the head. Um, it's still shocking to people when they see two guys. The impact of the punch,
yeah,
the fact that they're bare knuckle. It's even though most guys there wear hand wraps when they fight.
yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to take off as much as the success they're having. I, I don't like that it's making MMA look bad. Or
Yeah,
people associate that with MMA.
it is. I think because yeah, a lot of the MMA guys are getting the high publicity. Even some of the girls over there are doing really well. But
I
it's
think that's worse
yeah.
to seeing two females do that.
hmm But they the fights are entertaining. They're doing what they're supposed to. I mean, I used to watch the Vale Tudo fights Brazil, so it's not too different from that. They just minus the kicks and everything, minus the grappling. But
No, it's not. But it was never in North America.
no, 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 no. So I don't think it's ever going to be as big as a UFC or even like a high level boxing. But um, I think for the short time that they've been around, they've done pretty well with their promotion. And if they keep putting on fights like this and create heat, and they could be around for quite a while. And
Yeah,
I'm
no doubt about it. They're
in
gonna
this
be
fight.
around.
In this fight, I'm probably going more for Artem in this fight because of Polly's promotion in this fight. He's kind of going after the MMA community. This is one of our guys versus one of their guys. Um, and Polly's not the most likable person, so like,
He's not.
so I wouldn't mind Artem kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, I favor Artem just because he has experience in bare knuckle.
yeah,
Um, his hands aren't as fragile as Paulie's hands.
yeah,
And I think he's more active than Paulie. Um,
for sure,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Um, Rashad Evans getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. That's going to take place in I think July on the International Fight Week. Um, Obviously well deserved. There's no argument there. Um, his career is a long, tenured career. Some success, some failures towards the end. Kind of went out on his own terms, and overall a very likable guy. Very, very. It makes us feel old in a lot of ways because we basically saw his entire
career.
career.
Yeah,
I remember watching
watching
him.
the
Yeah,
Ultimate
watching him
Fighter.
in the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah,
seeing him beat heavyweights, and then just
he
continuing.
won as a heavyweight.
Yeah, he won as a heavyweight, and then continuing his career and becoming champion, and eventually just finally retiring. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. We basically got the chance to see his entire career. Most of the time, we don't. You don't always get to see that, and he spent pretty much his entire career in the UFC. Was
Yeah, I remember. I remember. Well, first of all, he deserves all the accolades
yeah,
that he's getting. He's he went to the Ultimate Fighter. He won that show. He became a champion. He knocked out some of our past legends like Liddell. Um, and he's a great analyst as well. But I do remember really disliking Rashad in the beginning just because of his cockiness. I
yeah,
didn't go too well with me. But then he kind of went face
yeah,
towards the end of his career, and he became so likable and so positive. And he's every time I think of Rashad Evans, I always picture him with the smile in my head. That's the first thing that I think of is that smile.
yeah,
Um, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy that A, he retired and he doesn't have to fight anymore for a living, and B, he has a secure job at ESPN, which I think that he's one of the guys that kills it.
yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, it's good for Rashad, well deserved. Um, and a lot of guys in his era are most of them are retired now. Got a couple of them that are still fighting. Um, like Anderson and BJ who are still continuing to fight.
Diego's still
So
fighting.
Diego's still fighting. But that's
He's
what's up.
smart because he knew he was a shell of himself,
Yeah, he
and
was.
he knew when to stop. Even though he was so competitive and
It's
he still
crazy.
tried to fight, he
Yeah.
knew, okay, this is not going to work out. I'm going to stop, and he was able to step away. Is it because he had that job at ESPN?
Probably
Maybe,
a lot to do with
but
it.
then a fighter like BG Penn, who the UFC asked to come on
Yeah.
board, and they offered him jobs, and he's one of those guys who it's like an addiction. He needs that fix.
Yeah.
So there's guys that can walk away, and there's some of the guys who just can't.
Yeah. Um I just towards the end of his career, is almost like, yeah, he it's crazy how father time catches up to some of the fighters, and they almost can't get off. They can't pull their they pull their punches. They
Yeah, because like one of his greatest assets in his fight
was his speed
was
and
his speed
his
and his
yeah, he
power.
had power, he had everything,
Yeah,
and
great
his
wrestler.
confidence was shot towards the end. You could tell he was losing to guys that he shouldn't have lost to. He was losing quick. It was just not going well for him. It's almost like yeah, you have nothing left in your tank
Yeah,
at all. So it's like it was a good time for him to get out.
yeah,
Quiet weekend this coming weekend. There's not a whole lot of fights to go over. Pretty much not much, not many things. There's PFL this week. That's on Thursday, I believe. ESPN, ESPN+. You have LFA this week, and that's it. And you have a couple of fights on Fight Pass with CFFC and Cage Warriors, but that's it. We'll probably have a quiet weekend for MMA this week.
yeah.
Um, and that is all. That's our show. I want to thank you guys for watching, for listening. Go to MMAComplex.com.
Yeah, you can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all under, I mean, not Snapchat, and Facebook, all under One in the MMA
Yeah.
Complex. You can visit our website, themmacomplex.com, buy your shirts and all things MMA Complex. Click on the link at the store and you can shop away. Also, rate the show. If you listen on iTunes, it'll help the show get recognized. Quiet weekend, but I'm looking forward to talk about more MMA next weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
until then, enjoy your week, guys, and we'll see you next week.